but we started playing that one, and the chorus kicked in, and I was up on my feet, bouncing up and down, looking at Damon, and we would go, yeah! The Narcissist, the first single, so like people are singing every word. It's incredible. And I think that my favorite moment of this whole, possibly of my whole life, was coming down. I came down to make breakfast last week at home, and my 12-year-old daughter was in the kitchen, and she didn't know I was there, and she was singing The Narcissist, like all on her own, and my heart stopped, and I actually started crying. I couldn't help it.
Oh my.
So that was a real, because your children are your harshest critics, believe me, and you can't kind of make them like it, and I think we all spend a lot of time playing with other musicians, with other bands, and it just means that when we come back to Blur,
it's all there.
We all bring what we do elsewhere back to the party, and it has been so long. And
yes, it is.
South America and particularly Chile. It's been a huge part of Blur's latter career. Actually, it's just that nothing prepared us for kind of how much love and excitement and how wonderful we've had so much fun all across South America over the past sort of 10-15 years, and we're all we couldn't have done this run of shows without coming back to Chile. I really cannot wait. How are you?
Hi, Alex. How are you? Where are you?
I'm back on my farm for a little bit, supposedly for a little bit of a rest ahead of some big shows this weekend. But my children are on summer holiday, so I've been spending all day making bacon sandwiches and washing up. I can't wait to get back on stage and relax.
That's great. Well, thank you for this interview. We are really hoping to see you here on November. It's been so long.
It has been so long. And,
yes, it is.
South America and particularly Chile. It's been a huge part of Blur's latter career. Actually, it's just that nothing prepared us for kind of how much love and excitement and how wonderful we've had so much fun all across South America over the past sort of 10-15 years, and we're all we couldn't have done this run of shows without coming back to Chile. I really cannot wait.
Oh, thank you very much for that comment, because we are really expecting you guys. Yes, we are.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, let's start with the interview. What any Blur fan wants to know here in Chile is exactly how and when did you decide to get back together after a Wembley proposal?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been 8 years since the Magic Whip, our last album. That's a long time, and there weren't many. There's not many play. Maybe we do one more show, and a date came up at Wembley Stadium. So there was a meeting called. It wasn't until early December last year. There was a meeting called, like, can we bear to do this anymore? Let's meet and see if we still like each other. And I bumped into the drummer outside, and he was really pale and he looked really worried, and he said, "I don't think it's going to happen, mate. I don't think it's going to happen." I was like, "Really? What's going on?" Anyway, we went inside, played like 3 songs, and all of a sudden it was like, "Yeah, brilliant! We're doing this. This is brilliant. I love you." Suddenly we're doing a tour and making a record as well. But it was really unexpected. It's particularly making new music, so there wasn't a lot of time to think about it, but which was fortunate, I think, because it's got the idea of making new music at this stage of a career is quite daunting, because what if it's rubbish? Then you've got a big problem. But fortunately, it was just right from the get-go. It was instantly wonderful. It was just effortless and weightless and joyous, and hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Well, that's great, and it's going to be awesome. The album, I heard it song by song. Congratulations! It's a great album. It's a great comeback, and hope you are enjoying playing it live on tour.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not. I mean, I suppose having made a new record completely changes the context of this run of shows. It's no longer a nostalgia thing. It brings it right up to date. I think we're all really proud of the Ballad of Darren. I'm beyond delighted, but it's not even out yet. So you know, so it's not like we can't turn up at a festival and play the whole new album. So that we will be playing. We will be playing. We won't just
But
be playing the new album, but you know. So I think it's great. The Narcissist, the first single, so like people are singing every word. It's incredible. And I think that my favorite moment of this whole, possibly of my whole life, was coming down. I came down to make breakfast last week at home, and my 12-year-old daughter was in the kitchen, and she didn't know I was there, and she was singing The Narcissist, like all on her
no.
own, and my heart stopped, and I actually started crying. I couldn't help it.
Oh my.
But so that was a real, because your children are your harshest critics, believe me. And you can't kind of make them you can't make them like it, but it's one. I mean, I think that's something that's really surprised us about this run of shows, is how young the first 50 rows of the crowd is. It's you know, I think people who've always liked Blur like this record, but it seems to have found a new audience as well. I mean, and it's wonderful. We're all loving it.
And let's talk about the songs, because St. Charles Square, your
Yes.
latest single,
Yeah.
have you played it live on tour? Have you played it?
Yeah,
yet?
yeah, we've been starting with it actually. I mean, it's a great one to play live. It was one of the first songs we recorded. I think we did it. I think it was like on the first or second day, and I'd been I've been playing the bass lying down. It's quite a relaxed record, and I was kind of lying on. There's a very uncomfortable sofa in Damon's studio. I don't but I was managing to make it work lying down. But we started playing that one, and the chorus kicked in, and I was up on my feet, bouncing up and down, looking at Damon, and we would go, yeah. You know, I think it's actually a really simple. It's really simple song. There's hardly anything on it. It's just bass and drums and guitar and singing.
Well, yeah, it's simple if we're talking about rock, but it's got great riffs, kind of a tense atmosphere, and it starts with a great phrase: "I fucked up. I'm not the first to do it."
Well, you know,
can you tell?
Damon, he's so relatable, isn't he? I mean, there's no one in the world that can't relate. You know, everyone can relate to that, and it's got a
Everyone.
swear word in it as well. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's a great way to. I think that's maybe why we've been starting with it. It's a great way to kind of start a comeback tour, isn't it? I fucked up.
Yeah, it's kind of a Blur attitude as well, like, you know, how
Well,
to face the world.
that sounds like a, you know, without trying, it sounds, you know, that does sound like a sort of classic Blur rock track, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, but the whole of this record, it was very relaxed.
Yes.
It didn't feel like going to work. It was like, I can't wait, you know, I can't wait to get there. It's because it's something that we started doing as teenagers, just because we loved doing it, and you know, it's never really felt like work, actually. And we were really fortunate. There was a chemistry there right away. The first time we ever rehearsed together, we wrote a song that we still play. You know, it was like instant. It was instant. And then all those years of it's true. She's So High, we wrote it at our first rehearsal. And then we, you know, spent years and years and years playing together, day in, day out, for hours and hours every day. And I think we've all come to realize that's a really precious thing we've got, that gives you there's a real kind of real very finely balanced sense of each other's phrasing and you know, you only get that from doing it. We're so lucky to have chance to do something and learn it and really properly, like, you know, just it's a wonderful thing that we have all this years of shared experience.
It's a wonderful thing, and you're really lucky, because not all bands, Britpop bands from the 90s, can do that. I mean, like, you're the exception. So, and we're really loving it.
Yeah, well, I suppose Blur have never. But I guess we've always. It's always easier to do the same thing you did yesterday than to change. But maybe the fact that we do go off and all do completely different things means that when we when we do come back together, kind of the world's moved on and we've all moved on, and it gives us the confidence to evolve, you know.
And
And
can we talk about sorry to interrupt you. Can we talk
not
about
at
the
all.
narcissist
Yes.
because you're saying when you come to the world like now and it's all evolved.
Yeah.
In this song Damon choose to talk about Narcissus,
Yeah.
and it's one of the two songs that it's inspiring mythological figures to
Yes.
talk
Yeah.
about the present times. Like Avalon is
Yeah.
another one.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Well, that's quite grown up, isn't it? You know, but
Yeah, it's quite
but
professional. It's like literature.
yeah. Well, you know, good Damon is. I did Damon. I think actually, I think we're all scholars to a certain
Mhm.
extent. But in the, I think it's you still, you know, it's yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's quite a grown up, evolved record. But you know, the 12-year-olds are singing it. Hallelujah. I mean, it's
Success.
yeah. You know, Damon's lyrics are, you know, sometimes I never really understand what he's talking about until
Mhm, mhm.
years later. But you know,
How did you come
they're
up?
open to interpretation, I think.
Okay, how did you come up with the bass line for the Narcissist? How it
Without thinking,
starts?
I just it's just a case of just joining in, and you know what
Uh-huh.
I d- it's it's we don't talk about it, we don't even think about it. It is like it's like riding a bike, you know, playing the bass in a rock band should be the easiest job in the world. You know, if you're thinking about it or talking about it, you're not doing it right. I think you
Mhm.
just have to kind of, it's sort of like swimming,
Uh-huh.
or floating. You know, it's like if you start trying you start trying too hard, you sink. You know, it's
It's it needs to flow.
you need to float. Yeah. Yeah. It is like, yeah, treading water in a massive ocean, lying
Uh-huh.
on your back looking at the sunshine.
Well, that's a great way of being. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you know, it's a you know, when Blur aren't together, people you know, people sometimes say, "Do you still do music?" Well, of course I do. Why wouldn't I? It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have in your life. That's what I tell my kids as well. You know, whether it's your job or whether it's still just a wonderful thing to have in your. It's like having I don't know. It's like a kind of mind garden, isn't it? Music.
Oh,
It's just somewhere you can another place you can occupy, a
your
space you can
private
go.
garden. Mm,
Yeah.
great. I have a question, Alex, about the
Yes.
ballad, the song,
Yes.
because it has a relationship with the head of security of Damon, Darren
That's right.
Smoggy
Yes. Yeah.
Evans.
Yes. Darren
Yeah,
Smoggy Evans. That's right. Yeah.
I read it was a song that Darren suggested not to be left undone a whole lot of years ago, and then Damon rescued it and put it on this record.
That's
But
exactly the
how?
story. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but how and why does this song become the album's title?
Well, I think that was the whole impetus that was really the thing, the spark that made this whole thing happen. Is that
Really?
that Darren, who's worked with the band for many years and is a dear friend to all of us, just would not stop pestering Damon. So you've got to finish that song. It's brilliant. And you know, just literally it was like a, you know, children pester power thing. He said, come on. um and it's a ballad, and he's called Darren, so I think the working title was the Ballad of Darren. Like, oh, I've got, you know, I've got and it's just one of those things that working titles often, you know, you live with them, you go, actually that's got some resonance and there's a little bit of poetry to it, and
Mhm.
yeah, I think we're all like, actually that's a that's a wonderful name for a record. And you know, it's yeah,
It's a
it
great
probably was the
story
spark.
behind the title.
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, Darren is a huge part of all our lives, and you know, you can only sing
Mhm,
about what you know.
mhm. It's very personal.
Mm,
Taking the general atmosphere or mood of this song, can we
mm,
say that the album is mostly nostalgic? Because other songs that may feel like the ballad are The
mm,
Everglades, Russian
mm.
Strings, Goodbye Albert, Avalon, and even Faraway Island.
Is it nostalgia? I don't know. To me, it kind of feels timeless, and you know,
Uh-huh.
it's actually, yeah. I don't think. I mean, I think it's just very simple. There's not much kind of artifice there. There's no smoke and mirrors. It's just four
Hmm.
guys in a room doing what we've done for 35 years.
Hmm.
And to me, it feels very evolved and very relaxed, and yeah, just like four guys expressing themselves. Sounds like friends to me.
Yeah.
I'm immensely proud of it.
That's great. In Russian strings, could you tell me
Yes.
more about the instruments in this song? Because it's kind of atmospheric, foggy, a
Yeah.
piano that
Yeah.
elegantly grows, something like some chords that actually have a sense of like a beach. It's like relaxing,
Yeah.
but it's also tough. I mean, the lyrics are strong.
They are. Yeah, I mean the chords in that song are crazy. There's a F sharp diminished in there, I think. Yeah. um, but I think it's that's there's so little on it. It's a beautiful song, and really
Hmm.
all the orchestration has to do is just really support support the chord structure. One of the
Hmm.
I think one of the great benefits of experience is it gives you the confidence to do less. So there's a lot of space on the whole album. Actually,
Yeah,
it's very underplayed, but yeah, it's. I mean, there's harmonically, it is quite sophisticated.
it
Um,
is.
yeah. Hmm. But it doesn't sound you know, it sounds very simple. It's, you know, I guess, um, yeah.
As a whole, it sounds very professional, very
Very
exquisite.
professional. Thank you
Yeah,
very
like
much. Well, no, it does.
you say it's really simple, but when you listen to it, like you hear an entire atmosphere of different instruments. Like it's really thought. Everything is really
well,
thought there.
well, it did all happened very, very quickly. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's probably the third or fourth take of us playing around. You know, it just all.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. It's I said to the drummer before we went on stage the other day, like, God, this is easy. And he said, mate, you've been doing it for 35 years. You know, anything's easy if you do it for 35 years. And
Oh yeah.
it's kind of, if something's going to work, it tends to work straight away, or
Mhm.
at this stage. I mean, some of them we had to fight with a little bit, you know.
Like
But
what?
really, do you know what? The end of Barbaric. That's the only time I've ever
Um,
seen, and this is my favorite part of the whole record. My favorite part of the whole record. It's the
the
only
end.
time I've had to see Graham had to do that guitar twice. I've never heard Graham play a wrong note ever. Like in 35 years, he's like some kind of savant genius on the guitar. Literally, but he had to do that again.
And you know something? Barbaric to me sounds very simple, very easy to
Yes, no,
play,
yes,
more
no.
than
I
Russian
mean,
strings.
yes, no. It is. Well, it's just all of us not trying to just the confidence. I think that, you know, that
Uh-huh.
that's what age and experience gives you is confidence. I guess as a teenager you have kind of confidence as well, but that's kind of mixed with kind of huge moments of self doubt. I suppose it is as an adult as well. But I think we all feel very relaxed in each other's musical company, and
Hmm.
it's like no one's trying to say too much. We're all just sitting, you know, it's like sitting down with my wife and having a cup of tea after dinner, you know, and you just, you know, you're
It's
not,
a dream.
you just kind of just look at each other, and you know, everything's all right. You know, it's just
Yeah,
like
you did it.
there's a sense of intimacy there musically, which is quite understated, but there's, you
Hmm.
know, there's depth there.
Hmm.
It's I'm glad that you picked up on that on the record.
Mm.
Delighted.
Yeah, I really liked it listening to it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I I have just one more last question, please.
Sure, sure.
when you announced the reunion of Blur, you, Alex, said, for any long-term relationship to last with any meaning, you have to be able to surprise each other somehow, and somehow we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, it's true. I thoroughly. I think we did. Nobody. I think we did. We were all delighted, like how easy this was. You know, we actually, we've got to try. We've got to try it. But I don't think we expected it to be one of our greatest records, or to enjoy it so much. And I think we all spend a lot of time playing with other musicians, with other bands, and it just means that when we come back to Blur,
it's all there.
We all bring what we do elsewhere back to the party, and that's kind of what enables us to say, fuck it, let's do country house.
Let's fuck on and rock and roll. James, Alex, just one last thing. Can you please send a greeting to all your Chilean fans that listen to Rock and Pop Radio? If you could start by saying, hi, Rock and Pop, this is Alex James from Blur, and you say your greeting.
Hey, Rock and Pop, this is Alex James from Blur, and I cannot wait to get to Chile in November. See you down the front.
Great.
Right?
Alex, that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you very much for the interview. Congrats.
Yeah, I mean it. Literally can't wait to come to Chile. It's been fantastic. Brilliant.
We'll be waiting for you. Goodbye.
Hallelujah. All right. Thanks so much. Cheers.